Hi, it's Sandy Parker and welcome to Crafting for Almost Everyone. Today we're going to make a card using alcohol inks and painting them with aluminum foil. I hope you'll stay tuned. So I'm going to make a Mother's Day card. It's late, but it's more the technique that I want to show you more than anything else. And I have a lot of alcohol inks that I pulled out, and I'll talk about those in just a second, but I want to go over the products that I use already. I started out with a box from cereal, and I glued regular aluminum foil on it with the shiny side face up. There's a matte side. You want that to be underneath. I used wet glue, glued it down, and let it dry. And then I cut it to 5 1/4 inches tall by 4 inches wide. It's going to fit onto this card that is, it's 8 1/2 inches wide by 5 1/2 inches tall. And then you score it at 4 1/4. It makes it what's called an A2 size card. And it's going to look like this. I'm sorry about the glare that I keep flickering on. Then I ran it through this petal lace embossing folder by Brutus Monroe. Really pretty folder. That's what it looks like. And I thought we would color on it with alcohol inks. Now, the one thing I always thought about alcohol inks is that you really couldn't do anything other than abstract art, because basically you're using things like this. This is one of my very high-tech homemade tools where I took a pill bottle, wrapped duct tape around it so that the lid would stay on it, then glued Velcro to the top, and then cut some really strategic circles out of felt. You can see how strategic that circle is. It's bad. I cut a bunch of circles out of felt, and that was so that with the old technique where you just kind of do this with your alcohol inks. I'm going to flip this over so it doesn't give you a world of glare. The things have changed in the worlds of alcohol inks, and they've come out with alcohol ink paintbrushes. Tim Holtz did. So when I saw these in a store, I had to buy them because I thought, holy cow, I'll be able to do actual painting with this, theoretically, because I haven't tried it yet, and I want you guys to be the ones to see me do it. Then they came out with these new pearl alcohol inks. These are by Ranger, and this one's called Intrigue. This one is called Sublime, and then the blue one is called Tranquil. And I also have a blending solution in case I want to move some ink around. And then I have regular Adirondack colors in some greens and a yellow that's called Sunshine Yellow. And, ooh, I'll just knock them all over. And then Currant and Watermelon. And this is Raspberry, which is seemingly pretty close to the Intrigue that's in the Ranger line. So when you first get these pearl alcohol inks, there's a ball in them, and you want to shake them really, really well because you want to move those colors around. It's really important to move that pearlescence. And I'm just going to shake them a little bit. They also give you a mini mister in here, but I'm not really a mini mister girl. I'm not good at that misting and aiming for, or hitting whatever I aim for. I'm going to use this ceramic tile to put the alcohol inks on almost like a palette. The only other things I had that are palettes are more plastic, and I was afraid that these would stain them, and I didn't want to work through that. So let's do a little bit of the Intrigue. Again, these are by Ranger. Ooh, that's really pretty. And I'm not going to put a lot on my palette because I don't know how much it's going to take to paint my images. And I'm not going to paint everything pink, but the things I do paint pink, I want to be pink. Wow, is this hard to work with because it's, I'm going to move it and turn this on an angle so that we all don't have to live with the glare. Hopefully you're not getting the glare anymore. And I'm going to start and see how much color I can get with the paintbrush. The one thing I can tell you right away is that it dries on this really fast. That's why the blending solution comes in handy, because what you can do is basically you put a drop on it and that re-wets what's on your palette, and then you can pick it back up. Because otherwise you're going to spend all your time with your dried ink trying to work through it. Let me try to get a couple petals done. All right, now I think what I'm going to do is just put it on right on my paintbrush instead of putting it on the palette, because it dries too fast on the palette. If I put it right on my paintbrush, maybe I won't have the drying sitch that I had currently. And then put the lid back on it, at least a little bit. Ooh, already got it on my finger. Because it'll dry up in the container too. Again, I apologize for the glare, but until we get some of these colors painted, way too much on that color. Ooh. I don't know about you guys, but so far I don't see the pearlescence like I thought I would. But maybe it's because I'm using aluminum foil. You know what I mean? Could be. You don't know. So let's see how much of this we can quickly paint before it dries out. I don't want to use the bigger brush, because I think if I use the bigger brush, I'm going to have more problems trying to control the alcohol ink, and I think it'll just dry out on my surface too much, if you know what I mean. All right, now I got another idea. I'm going to put a drop right there and see if I can paint it better that way. This is all a little bit of an experiment, trying to figure out the best way to paint with this, because it's not like regular paint, because every time you touch it, I don't know if you can see that, every time I touch it I end up kind of smearing the ink around. Okay, so I'm going to have Rich fast forward while I do the pink painting, because there's going to be quite a bit of that, because I'm doing all these separate petals with it. So I've got this much colored, and I mixed a couple of the colors thinking I would get a little bit of a different shade, but I didn't really get a different shade. So I guess I'm going to have to just go to a completely different color family to get something different looking on this. So I think what I'm going to do next is go with the Sunshine Yellow, I think it's called. And when I do this, I'm going to use a different brush, because I figured out that you really have to use a lot of alcohol to clean these brushes with, to get, you know, from color to color. So I'm going to try this little flat brush, which is probably stupid because it's not going to get in the spots I need to get in, but we're going to give it a try. Oh, I just dropped that in my lap, and luckily it didn't go everywhere. I'm just saying, whoo, lucky break. I'm not sure about this brush. I don't know if you can hear that, but my dog is snoring in the hall. But you know, when you're an 80-pound dog, you can really make some good noise. I think I'm just gonna do the drip method. Ooh, or too much drip method. I do like the brushes, because I do feel I'm controlling the alcohol ink a lot more than I ever did before. I don't know about any of you, if you've ever tried alcohol ink, it's not the easiest stuff to play with. Okay, now I'm gonna take one of my little pieces of this felt, and I'm gonna, this is alcohol, and I'm gonna just spray it on that. And I have a couple spots where I got confused about what color should be there, and I'm gonna fix them right now. This is a yellow spot, and this is a yellow spot. They're currently pink, and I don't want them to be. Okay, and then over here, I'm going to fold this in half for this place where the yellow went everywhere. And I'm going to see if I can just kind of wipe it off. Make sure we got all of our leaves that we want to paint that color. Okay, so now I'm going to take my little swab and try and get the excess off so that I don't end up with it all over my clothes. I'm just gonna lightly wipe my brush on there, and then I'm gonna spray a little alcohol on that cloth, the alcohol. Ooh. Here's my other brush that I need to clean. Now I've got my little brush back again. That makes me happy because I didn't really like that bigger brush. And I think our next color I'm going to go with is this pearl blue. I'm only going to do little spots of this, and then I think I'm going to stop because I'm not looking to make the whole thing painted. I just wanted to make part of it painted. I don't know if you can see, because my brush had that purpley color in it. It's making the color on the palette a darker blue. So I'm going to add another layer so that we can get it to be more this aqua color. I have a ribbon that I ran through the alcohol ink. I did that on purpose because I wanted it to be the same color as my background. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this cut. So I cut that in a little point like that, and that makes it so that you can thread it through your tag. My tag is, or not my tag, my ribbon is really stiff because of running it through that alcohol ink. And I only dyed it to right here. And I hope you can see the change in color from one to the other. And so it was originally this color, and now it's not. I wanted it that way so that I could have a match, but also because I wasn't sure how I was going to position this. So I needed it to be long enough that if I wanted to, hold on, I want to do this so you can see it. So that if I wanted to do it like this, I could do it. Follow? And I do think that's how I'm going to do it. So what I want to do is I'm going to put this on the back. And hopefully, see how I got it to come off on there? So then what I want to do is I'm going to put my ribbon in it like that. You see? So that it makes it flat on the ribbon. That's what I'm doing. Okay, next up, we're going to attach this to our card base. And I am going to use some foam tape. You can also, and this might even be a better idea, you can also use fun foam, kids fun foam, where you cut it to size, and it's not as thick as foam tape. It does make it so that when you mail it, it's not as bumpy, because sometimes when you mail cards that you put this tape on, they get to their destination and they look like they're a waffle, because in between the lines of foam, nothing was there to stop it from, getting in there. So that's my recommendation, is maybe consider fun foam instead. But we're not going to do that, because, don't do like I do. Don't do like I say. Do like I'm doing. Clearly I'm, messing this up. Okay, anyway. There's that. That's all of them. And I will just rip these off. If you like alcohol inks, I will say this: the brushes make them so much more fun to play with. So if you find them, I would grab some, because they are fun. Okay, I should have put this on here before I did that. All right. You know when I'm singing, it's not a good thing. Okay, I want to put it about there. I can always move it around a little bit. That's going to be our front. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the blue. This time I am going to put it on this. I don't know why, because it just dries on there, but we're just going to run it around the edges. You could use an alcohol marker on this too, if you decided that's what you wanted to do. I'm trying to clean off the edges of my bottle while I'm doing this. You only need to go in about 1/4 of an inch. If you're saying to yourself, geez, this looks bad, Sandy just swabbed off a bunch of ink all over this, don't worry, because no one's going to see any of this. They're only going to see what we've glued down, which is this. Okay, here's something else that happens that you want to fix at this point. You see when I close my card, the back edge, you can see the white. That's when you want to take your rotary trimmer, or not rotary trimmer, your guillotine trimmer if you have one. This is handy for this, because I have this happen a lot. I don't know why sometimes my cards just have that little teeny tiny edge that shows up. The back edge shows up, and I don't like that, so I'm fixing it. Okay, now back to lining up our card. I'm pretty happy with how it came out. Now all I need to do, I got a little blue on the inside. That makes it homemade. All I need to do now is take my Handmade by Sandy Parker, or Made for You by Sandy Parker stamp, and put it on the back. First off, let me tell you, when I buy envelopes, I like to buy a set of like 50, but I always look to see if they have the straight across back, because that makes me, it's what I like in envelopes. I'm not picky about a lot of things, but if you have that lip on an envelope, it just gives you more room to work. I didn't realize the camera cut out. I wanted to show you how I handled my envelope. I have some leftover alcohol ink on my palette. I'm just going to smear it around so that there's more intense color in the mix that's on there. Then I'm taking a red rubber stamp. Don't use the clear acrylic stamps because you will regret that. You'll never get this off. But you take your red rubber stamp and you dab around in it. And then you're going to put it on the front of the envelope. You're going to hold it there. And then you get, it almost looks like a watermark. I think it's really pretty. And then here's the ones on the back. Each one's different. I think they're really pretty. But anyway, that's what I did for the envelope. And so the front and the back are both ready to go. Well, after I worked on, or after I finished the Mother's Day card, I did a couple more. This one is with a Doris folder. I don't know the name of it. And the other one is a Doris. This is a quadrifoil embossing folder. And all I did with this one was I die cut the word hi, and then I taped a piece of the glitter paper inside, and then I taped another piece of the cardstock on top of it so you can't see that, you know, that that's in there. Then I put one of the little diamonds because I don't like the way this hi has a weird little top for its eye. So I glued a little diamond on top of there. And then I just did the same thing. I painted with the green and the blue pearlized alcohol ink. Then on this one, basically I did exactly the same thing as the Mother's Day card. I only did a couple more loops of the ribbon, and I put this on an angle, and it says celebrate every day. I thought this was a good one for now during Corona when people aren't able to get out. And I'm going to send that to one of my friends that is older, had a stroke, and is not able to get out and do much. So I would either send her the hi or the celebrate every day. She would like either one. So I hope you enjoyed these, that you give this idea a try and give it a thumbs up. Please tell your friends about me on social media because you know I love that. Please stay inside, stay safe, and stay healthy. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.